Hello, everyone. Can you remember the last time you lost your cool with your child as a parent? Perhaps it was at a time when you wanted them to do something and they're ignoring you, or they're not listening, or they're doing something that is disrupting for you, and you keep saying to them, "Stop doing that," or eat your food if they're at the dinner table, and they keep ignoring you and they're not listening at all, and you lose it. You reacted with anger, and either you yelled at them, or you punished them, you sent them to their room, or you took something away from them, whatever you did for punishment. And then you regretted it because you saw how the child was scared, perhaps, and also very sad. And that made you realize that perhaps your reaction in that moment was really harsh and not very caring. So what is it that's really going on when we lose our temper? We are reacting in a way that is very, like, some parents tell me, it's spontaneous. We don't even think about it, and we just react, and then we regret it. What is really going on? So in an instance that when you're talking to your child and you're asking them to do something and they're not listening for whatever reason, when they don't listen to you, how do you perceive that? And a lot of times, as a parent, I've been there many, many times, and I know really what it meant to me. A lot of times it's like, I'm not being respected. I'm not being a good parent. That's why they don't respect me. I'm not being heard by them. I'm not being seen by them. I'm being ignored by them. And I make it about me. And when I make it about me, that they are ignoring me, that they're not seeing me, that they're not hearing me, that they're not respecting me, well, guess what? As soon as I feel like this, I'm brought back again to my own childhood, when I felt ignored, when I wasn't being seen, when I was not being heard, and when others were not respecting me. So in that moment, when the trigger happens, remember, the trigger, it's not about when the trigger goes on, it's about what comes out when the trigger happens. So if I have a lot of anger and I remember about those past memories, and it all happens subconsciously, it's not consciously that you're thinking about it. When I remember that, I get very angry, because when that happened in the past, it was never really resolved. I didn't perhaps not express it. That's what happens for a lot of us. Or, we kind of push down all these emotions, and now those emotions are there. And when there's a situation that reminds you of the hurt and the pain you experience, like not being respected, not being seen or heard or cared for, or whatever it is, then you have the same emotion that arise in the present moment. But those emotions are emotions of the past. It's never about what is happening really with your child in the moment. Yes, your child's behaviors are reminding you of that. So then it's very healing if you can go on a journey of inquiring, okay, what is that anger all about? When I lashed out and I regretted it, what was that all about? And if I can remember, okay, that reminds me of the past, what is it that's still unresolved for me? And going forward, how can I resolve this? And sometimes you can do it on your own, but if you do need help, there are therapists out there who can help you to process that work. So I would say if you're a parent experiencing that frequently, in order for you, and I know as a parent, we want to change these behaviors. We don't want to keep doing it. And if you are there, then I have good news for you, because if you're willing to do that inner work, you can choose to respond differently to your child. And your child, they may not listen, but you do not have to react in a way that's very harsh towards them because you're thinking it's them causing it. Yes, they're causing a situation, and you're not really angry about the situation. You're angry about what the situation is reminding you of the past that's still unresolved for you. And when you can understand that about yourself, then you can do something in the moment when you are triggered, because triggers are not going to go away. They're always going to come up for us. But when we're triggered, we can respond differently. And that requires awareness. It requires an inquiry about ourselves and learning tools that will help us in the moment to recognize when we're triggered so that we can choose a different response, such as, for me, when I started doing that inner work, the easiest response, and still sometimes that's the easiest response, is when I know I'm triggered, I know I need to take a break. So instead of staying there and keep arguing or trying to convince my child to listen to me, it's better that I step away from the situation for a few minutes, take a breath, regain my calm, come back in the present, and then deal with the situation. So that's one way, but there are also many ways depending on, what are the circumstances that are triggering you. So if you have any questions with regards to that, feel free to reach out to me. I've been there. I'm still working on that myself with my own children. And I also help a lot of parents see the other aspect of when we are triggered with our children and how we are responding in a way that we don't even like ourselves to be responding in that way. Because it's very sad also for the child to experience that, and we can experience their sadness when that happens, and we don't want that, right? And I know no parent wants that. So we want to change, and the change can happen. It's just you need to be willing to look at yourself and not just blame the child. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, watch out for my next video, and thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.